These books will self-destruct in 1 year. All right, hey guys. Today I'm going to be talking about last year's self-destructing books and this year's self-destructing books. So last year I put together a list of books that I thought I needed a push to read. This year, I have a little bit of a different list. Now, I was planning on doing these two videos separately. However, I'm behind, and so I just want to kind of catch up and combine these two. So, the books that I am going to be forced to unhaul at the end of this video, well, most of them I have. So let's go ahead and talk about each book. Gilded Cage. So this is a series, I think it's a duology that one of my friends really enjoyed. However, I just never felt the need to pick it up throughout the year. And even though I knew one of my friends really enjoyed it, I was never really drawn to it. Part of my problem is I really try to focus on new releases for you guys. And that one just kind of fell to the wayside and I never read it. Roses and Rot. This hit multiple lists of mine throughout the last few years. However, I lost interest. And I think I lost interest because it hit like a TBR 10, if you guys used to watch those videos, and it was in my lowest rated books. And since it was one of my lowest rated books and I had mild interest to begin with, I think I just kept putting it off, realizing it probably wasn't for me. And it's about an artist, and I have an issue with books about artists. I think there's like one I really enjoyed, and I don't know what it is about writing about artists that I don't like, but I ended up unhauling this one already. Oh, the one that's gonna kind of hurt a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and unhaul the physical book that I own, Beyond Redemption. I put this on the list, trying to give myself the push to read it, but I have the audio. So if I do feel the need to read it, I have it. But keeping a book physically that I really don't know if I'm going to enjoy or not, I don't know. I'm okay with getting rid of the physical book. The Apollo Murders. Now, even in the video that I recorded last time, I did say that I'd already lost interest in this. So once I finished filming the video, I actually just unhauled it because I didn't find myself really drawn to it anymore. I knew that even though a lot of the people that were in the Discord really loved it, it was not the book for me, and I knew that just by talking to them. And I had bought it from the buy-sell trade, so it wasn't like I spent a lot of money on it, and I just went ahead and unhauled it. The Lady Rogue. Now this one I did try to read. However, it felt really, really young, and I didn't really like the slow pace of the book, and I lost interest very quickly while reading it, and I went ahead and unhauled it. The Lake House by Kate Morton. Now, I do need to unhaul this one. I just never was drawn to it. And that's kind of the point of these videos. If it takes you a year and you haven't read it, you're not drawn to it, do you really need to keep it? So that's just where I am right now. The Book of Longings, same thing. I've already unhauled it. I didn't feel like it was going to be one that I really reached for. It's not the type of historical fiction that I read anymore. And I kind of didn't care giving this one up. And even though I really like The Secret Life of Bees, I'm not sure that Sue Monk Kidd is exactly what I want to be reaching for, the type of author I want to be reaching for. I've definitely shifted much more towards fantasy and lately towards fantasy romance, and that's just not my jam anymore. So, The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. Okay, so here's where I break the rules. I do still want to read this one. And I do still want to read this one because The Measure was one of my favorite books of last year. I didn't get around to this one simply because of the readathons I was participating in, and I never could make it fit into the readathon prompts or anything like that. So I'm going to hold on to this one. I know I'm supposed to be unhauling it if I didn't read it within a year, but that is the reason for it. And so I'm definitely going to be keeping it. Departure by A.G. Riddle. I just pulled it from my shelves to set it in my unhaul pile. This is one that I have convinced myself I would probably like, but never do I reach for it. Never once since I bought it have I reached for it and said, that's the book I want to read. Even though I do think I would like it if I gave it a chance, And it's available on Libby, Everand, Audible for free. I don't know if Audible's free. I think I remember coming across it on Audible for free not too long ago, but that's one that I can get a hold of fairly easy if I decide I need to listen to it. But it hasn't called me in a couple of years, so we're just kind of going to ignore it. It doesn't exist. Furyborn by Claire Legrand. Yes, I did try reading this one, and I did not vibe with the writing style of the book. So I ended up unhauling the whole series, and it wasn't my cup of tea. Now, on that note, for the books that are going to be self-destructing for 2024, I have to fully admit to purchasing series before I've even read the first book. It is a habit that I have that I need to stop. But most of these books, not all of them, but a good majority of them are going to be series that I own the full series of and haven't even read the first book. So by doing this, I am going to be unhauling entire series by the end of, or by this time next year. So let's get into the list because this is kind of making me excited. I know you guys know that I love unhauling, but I love unhauling for the simple fact that my shelves should be curated to my taste. So why are these books taking up so much space on my shelves when I haven't even read them? Don't know if I'm gonna like them. Okay, so first up, I have Dead Iron by Devin Monk. Of course, these are short, so why am I trying to get rid of space with these? Well, I've had them for forever. These have hit multiple TBRs of mine, and I still have not read them. It is steampunk, pretty kind of like fun premise. Oh, I guess someone needed whipped cream in Oklahoma City because here we go. It's always fun finding those in the used books that I buy. But I've had this for forever. It says, in Steam Age America, men, monsters, machines, and magic battle to claim the same scrap of earth and sky. In this chaos, one man must fight to hold on to what's left of his humanity. It sounds really good. And it's like steampunk American history. I should be completely just absorbed in this, but I haven't picked it up. And I do really, really want to read it. However, if I haven't read it within the year, I'm not going to, and that's kind of where we are. Okay, this one kind of hurts a little bit, but Kingmaker, Kingbreaker by Karen Miller. Now, I've heard things about this that make me not want to read it, and that's why I put it off, but I own the omnibus edition of this, and Godspeaker. So I really need to either read Karen Miller or get rid of these chonky books because, I mean, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do with them if I don't read or get rid of them. They take up so much space. One of them consumes the entire back part of my TBR cart. So, I need to read these. And it says, the innocent mage has come. We stand in the beginning of the end of everything. Being a fisherman, like his father, isn't a bad life, but it's not one that Asher wants. Despite his humble roots, Asher has grand dreams, and they call him to Dorana, home of princes, beggars, and the warrior mages who have protected the kingdom for generations. Little does Asher know, however, that his arrival in the city is being closely watched. So I feel like I will probably like this series, maybe. I don't know. And I never can remember if it's Kingmaker, Kingbreaker, or Godspeaker that people talk badly about. So that's another reason that I kind of put off reading these, is because I can't remember which one it was. I have a horror that's coming up on this list, and I feel like this is one of the horrors that if you are a horror fan, you should be reading, and I had never have read it. And that would be The Hellfire Club by Peter Straub. Now, do I think I will like this? Yeah, I do. I know what The Hellfire Club is, and so I definitely think I would enjoy this, but I haven't read it, and I just need to. I need to. In The Hellfire Club, Peter Straub has not only created a villain as diabolical, clever, and fascinating as Hannibal Lecter, but has also written his most gripping, concentrated, and startling novel to date. At stake are the fates of both a loyal and courageous woman and a long-established publishing house. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely need to read this. But it's on this list because I've had it for years, and still have not done it. Okay, next is one that's not exactly old. but someone bought it for me for Christmas 2 years ago and I still haven't read it. And I kind of feel like I need to. So this is kind of going on the list as a push to read. I mean, all of these are on the list as a push to read, but Blood Air by Emil Wen Zhao. I think I will like this book. However, I'm not picking it up and I don't know why. And this is one that is desert fantasy, but it's YA. It says, Blood Air is a favorite of mine. I hope you enjoy it. So here's my gift receipt thing, telling me how much they loved this book. And I really need to just get into it. It says, a princess with a deadly gift, a con man with no past and no future, an empire spiraling into chaos. It's time to choose a side. Yeah, I mean, it sounds up my alley. A con man definitely sounds up my alley. So I don't know why I'm not picking this one up, but that's why it's here. This is coming up on the list for one very simple reason. It is the author. I have said I'm not going to read any more by this author because I feel like everything that they write is the same. And that would be The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. I've had this book for forever. Now, I do like Holly Black. I've enjoyed everything I've read from Holly Black, but they all read the same. They all read the same. And so I'm going to try this one. Hopefully, that's why it's on this list. And if I don't like this one, or if it's just more of the same, I'm done with Holly Black for forever. Now, like I said, I like Holly Black. I do think I will like this one. But it says, Cold Town was dangerous. Tana knew. A glamorous cage, a prison for the damned and anyone who wanted to party with them. So I do like how dark Holly Black can be. I do like that her characters are a little off-center. There's so much things that I do like about Holly Black's writing, but when you've read 7 books, 8 books, and they all read the same, I mean, it loses like all interest for me. I just, anyway, we'll read this one, see how it goes. Okay, these next 4 are going to be series that I've owned for forever, and I wanted them when I bought them, but every time I look at them, I'm like, why are you here? And we need to figure that out. We need to figure that out. E.E. Knight's Dragon Champion. This is book 1 of The Age of Fire. It says, high in the mountains, deep in the safety of a cave, a brood of dragons is born. The 4 young ones are among the last of a dying breed, the final hope for dragon survival. But hope shatters when a murderous group of slave-trading dwarves breaks into the cave, leaving death and destruction in its wake. Only young Oron, a rare scaleless gray dragon, manages to escape. Armed with nothing save wit, claws, and boundless determination to survive, he seeks his kind. But to find other dragons, or at least discover who's killing them off, Oron will have to search the world of mercenary elves, vicious humans, and dangers of all kind, winning allies in the strangest places, and finding himself along the way. Oron embarks on the journey of a 1,000-year lifetime. The main character is a dragon. I should want to read this. So I do really, really want to read this. And I look at it on my shelves. It does call to me. And then I'm like, I don't know. Do I really want to read from a dragon's perspective? I do. I've read the Rainwild Chronicles. Let's go ahead and pick up another one from a dragon's POV. The Rainwild Chronicles are not obviously from an entire POV of a dragon. Frickin' Draconis Memoria. There's a dragon POV in that. Come on now. Why am I putting this off? I don't know. I need to read it. Someone, if you've read it, let me know if you think I'll like it. They're short too. So that's another thing that draws me to it. I love short epic fantasy. And that's because I don't like a lot of filler in my fantasy. So I should read this, right? Right? Okay, another one would be The Wayfarer Redemption by Sarah Douglas. Now, I own all of these in these like really cool old school hardbacks. And that's part of the reason I bought the whole series, is because I found the whole series in these awesome hardbacks. But I really want to read these, and I don't know why I don't. This is an epic fantasy in the tradition of David Eddings and Terry Goodkind. I have liked Terry Goodkind in the past. It says, at another time in the distant land of Akar, the Karites lived a prosperous life, protected by vast and insurmountable mountains to the north. Duke Bornheld governed their land and upheld the teachings of the Seneschal and Artor the Plowman. But before the Arkarites inhabited their land, according to lore, it was ruled by the Forbidden Ones. A millennia-old prophecy was given when the Forbidden Ones were driven from Akar. And now the Akarites witness its manifestation. Akar is under attack by an evil lord from the north, Gorgrial, his ice demons strike from the sky and kill hundreds of brave warriors in the blink of an eye. Okay, so this is giving me Game of Thrones vibes, Song of Ice and Fire. And I believe this came first, similarly close together. I will have to look up the date and see when A Song of Ice and Fire first released, Game of Thrones. But I don't like classic fantasy, and this is giving me classic fantasy vibes, even though I love this cover, even though I love the thought of the main character being as cool looking as this, even though I like Game of Thrones. I just don't like George R.R. Martin's writing. So I just I need to read this. I definitely need to read this. On that same note, again, one I've had for forever. Let me see what the publication date on this one is. Oh, this is 2007, so not quite as bad. But I have The Immortal Prince, The Tide Lords by Jennifer Fallon. Now, I also have Metalon, which is sitting on my TBR cart. I do want to read that one, but why haven't I read this? I don't know. I really don't. I own all of the books. The gods of legend rise again as the tide rolls in. When a routine hanging goes wrong and a murderer somehow survives the noose, a man announces he is an immortal. And not just any immortal, but Kael, the Immortal Prince, hero of legend, thought to be only a fictional character. To most, he is a figure out of the Tide Lord Tarot, the only record left on Amarantha of the mythical being who fables tell created the half-human, half-animal Crossy, a race of slaves. Arcady Destin is an expert on the legends of the Tide Lords, so at the request of the King's spy master, she is sent to interrogate this would-be immortal, hoping to prove he is a spy or at the very least a madman. So it sounds really good. It sounds really good, but I'm not reading it. So it's going to self-destruct along with the rest of the series that I own sitting right up there. Okay, and then I have two others that I don't really want to go chase down because my husband is asleep and these are in my bedroom. So Ice Forge by Gail Z. Martin. Now this one, I can't say that the synopsis appeals to me, but I've been told time and time again that I will love Gail Z. Martin's writing. And so when I found this series, I picked it up. I know that this is not the one that everyone tells me to read, though. It's her Necromancer series that everyone tells me to read. But I do like the Norse-inspired stories, and so I feel like this should be one that I pick up and enjoy. But I haven't done it yet. And it's been over a year since I purchased this series in its entirety. So they're chonky books. And if I like them, I like them. If I don't, I don't. If I don't pick them up within a year, they're going to self-destruct. The final book in this video, oh, it pains me to do this, but I need to. It has to be here because either I'm going to read it and love it, or I'm just not going to read it because of the hangups I have with it. And that would be The First Binding by R.R. Virdi. I've had it since its release, and I've refused to read it because I love The Name of the Wind so much. And the comparisons throw me. I can't decide if I will like something that is a complete ripoff of The Name of the Wind, or if I will be so excited to pick up something that is similar to Name of the Wind. I hate derivative stories though. I really do. It's very rare that I enjoy a book that reads like something else, and you guys have seen that multiple times. I've proven that multiple times trying to read things that you guys have recommended that are like, oh, if you like this, you'll like this. With the exception of like The Ember Blade, which is back here and you can't see. There's not a whole lot of derivative stories that I enjoy because I'm like, it reads the same. Why do I want to read this story again? I don't. Now, I don't mind rereading. I don't mind a good retelling. But when something is just completely derivative, and whenever I say I like a retelling, I like a reimagining. I guess I should say that because I like the retellings that take a different route. I like the retellings that are from a different POV. I like the ones that they have something to offer other than the original story. So that's kind of where we are right now. Some of these were hard to put on this list, but I know myself, and if I do not touch them within the year, then I'm probably not going to. All right, that's it for my video today. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things. Don't forget, I have a Patreon if you'd like to support my channel and what I do. Give a huge shout out to Kate and Izzy and my mother for supporting me for as long as they have. And yeah, have a lovely, lovely day.